La ciencia es el futuro. Sin ciencia no hay futuro.
Hola, estimados amigos de cienciaperú.tv. Estamos con la Teniente Coronel Maribel Harmon de la Fuerza Aérea de Estados Unidos, que está aquí en una conferencia que ha brindado un grupo de miembros de la Fuerza Aérea de Estados Unidos sobre una actividad internacional promoviendo la innovación. Nos va a contar un poco de qué se ha tratado esta conferencia.
Nosotros pertenecemos a la Fuerza Aérea de los Estados Unidos, la Oficina de Investigación Científica de la Fuerza Aérea especialmente, y venimos promoviendo nuestro programa de fondos para investigación básica, conferencias y Windows of Science, que es un programa para intercambiar expertise y mandar a estudiantes o researchers a los laboratorios de la Fuerza Aérea para cambiar ideas y promover colaboración.
¿Cuáles son las formas que tendrían los jóvenes para aplicar a este?
Nuestro programa es abierto todo el año. Ellos tienen que aplicar con un white paper, que es lo que le llamamos, es la idea. Van a escribir la idea, cómo van a llegar ahí, la metodología, su presupuesto, qué es lo que están pidiendo específicamente en el presupuesto, y nosotros ayudamos a fortalecer esa propuesta. No probamos la propuesta, nosotros somos las personas en la oficina internacional que conectan a los científicos y ayudamos a fortalecer las propuestas o las ideas del científico local para proponer o postular su propuesta a la Fuerza Aérea. Y si queda aprobado, pues entonces le dan los fondos para hacer esa investigación.
¿Qué tipo de investigaciones son?
Tenemos 37 portfolios en todas las ciencias, inclusive sociology, inclusive información, química, física, matemática, ingeniería, todos los tópicos. Tenemos 37 portfolios y es bien broad, todo cabe entre nuestro portfolio. Lo que pedimos es que publiquen en una publicación de ciencia abierta. Tiene que ser Open Science y una publicación, al menos una publicación para el proyecto.
O sea, ciencias básicas, ¿puede ser física nuclear?
Conceptos de física nuclear básico, no aplicaciones. Puede ser eso también, porque buscamos por energía, renewable energy, environment effects. Tenemos muchas áreas.
Ahora, ¿qué es lo que ofrecen ustedes? ¿Qué obtendrían los muchachos? ¿Usted dinero?
El dinero que reciben es para pagar esa investigación, son los salarios para que vayan y presenten en la conferencia de su gusto en el país de que quieran presentar. También podemos pagar por eso. La publicación, porque pedimos que publiques una publicación científica, podemos pagar por la publicación científica en su casa de publicación de preferencia. Es lo que ustedes pidan. Ahora, lo que ganamos es encontrar
¿Qué
científicos.
gasta la Fuerza Aérea?
Encontramos partners internacionales o expandir el conocimiento de ciencia internacionalmente.
El conocimiento hoy es una gran riqueza, ¿no es cierto? Ustedes en Estados Unidos están en competencia con China.
Nosotros lo que buscamos es básico, no es aplicación.
Básico, ciencias básicas.
Nosotros impulsamos el conocimiento de la ciencia y la tecnología en el mundo entero.
¿Y cuál es la relación con la National Science Foundation?
Nosotros
Independientes.
Somos independientes. Ahora, hay veces que el National Science Foundation ha promovido dinero para equipo que la universidad está usando para hacer nuestro research. Y el researcher pide dinero para hacer el research.
Ahora, el dinero tiene que pasar a través de la universidad.
Es only universities. Es open science.
No, me refiero el dinero que ustedes otorgan a los investigadores, los jóvenes.
Sí.
Pasaría a través de la universidad.
Es la universidad. La universidad es la que pide el dinero. La universidad es la que recibe el dinero para pagar esa específica research plan que propusieron.
De modo que los aplicantes tienen que aplicar a la universidad.
Con la universidad.
O sea, ustedes, una asociación, Fuerza Aérea, universidad, otorgan a científicos jóvenes para que puedan hacer ciencias básicas. Muy interesante, primera vez que escucho eso. La Fuerza Aérea normalmente está o las Fuerzas Armadas están involucradas en cosas aplicadas, ¿no?
Nosotros no, nosotros
¿Desde
somos
cuándo es así?
más de 25 años.
¿Y por qué es así?
Porque la mayoría de la ciencia básica ocurre fuera de los Estados Unidos. 75% ocurre fuera en el globo.
Muy bien, muchísimas gracias, estimada Teniente Coronel
Sí,
Maribel Hartman.
muchas gracias.
¿Usted es de qué nacionalidad antes?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Muchas gracias, amigos. Ha sido
Gracias.
este equipo interesante. Estamos entrevistando para nuestro canal Ciencia Perú. This is Peruvian Science Channel.
Okay.
We have 72,000 followers.
Okay.
What you could say to them?
Yeah, so it's the science channel, right? So science is important, right? I'm from the Air Force Office of Scientific Research, and I'm Roger Greenwood. I'm based out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. But I mean, that's science is, and everyone has different tastes in what they like of science. But I just encourage people to follow what they like in science and discover more science. There's always more to discover, more to learn, and more to understand.
You are military.
I am, yeah. I'm in the Air Force, United States Air Force. So
Some research, some basic research in your life.
So my area of expertise is aerodynamics. So high-speed aerodynamics is what I've studied throughout my life.
You are going to visit Cusco, I heard.
Yes, we are. We're going to go visit the UNSA in Cusco.
And in Latin America, you visited several countries?
I've visited quite a few countries in Latin America. I've been to several of them. There's a lot of great universities. I've been to Chile, Colombia. I live in Brazil. I've been to a lot of cities in Brazil.
What do you know about this university?
Well, this has been my first experience at uni, right? It's a great university. I'm finding out it's got a big legacy, and it's done a lot of great research in its years. So I'm excited to learn even more about it. Hopefully we'll get some good science ideas from.
What is your name and your degree?
Roger Greenwood. My degree is, I have a PhD in aeronautical engineering. So.
But as a military?
I was military. I'm a colonel.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are also
Hello.
in the team, eh?
I am on the team. I have only been here, here in the shade there. I've only been here for 2 months, so 2 meses. So I am brand new. I am the newest member on the team, and these ones are leaving, so it'll be just a couple of us left. So my name is Travis Tubbs. So I am a major. In the United States Space Force. So I am in the Space Force. I did 16 years in the Air Force, and then I moved over to the Space Force. So I was a professor at the Air Force Academy, so the United States Air Force Academy, and then my degree is in biology. So I do space and biology, and I tried to put those two things
Astrobiology.
together. So basically astrobiology, yep. So that's one of the projects I was building, is an astrobiology department, or a project in my department.
Many young people think about this astrobiology. It's crazy here in Peru. Many people is interested. Why is this?
Why are they so interested? I think it's because every night you can look up and see, and you wonder, what is out there in space? What is out there? And someday, could we be out there in space? Is that something that we can go and do? And so part of my job is to help move that science along farther. So my students, my cadets, have built a little space greenhouse, and we are launching some plants out into space, and then we're going to launch some mushrooms, and we're going to launch some bacteria, and we're going to launch some little microorganisms. So we're testing all the different areas of biology. And so part of what I'm doing here, one of the reasons why I'm here, is to help push science in every direction it can go. Try and help fund basic research so we can help scientists find new and innovative ways of doing science. And the areas I am most interested in is biology and space, and trying to put those two things together.
It's really fantastic. People are very interested in this. We organize in Peru the so-called international meeting for scientists, and the section of astrobiology is full of people.
Absolutely, yes. So maybe someday I will be there at that conference when you're doing that, and so maybe I can talk about it. So I'm trying to offer mechanisms or ways that students and researchers can send their projects up into space.
Thank you very much. Young people, as you can see, is very interested in this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amigos, estamos con el ingeniero James Lake. How the American Air Force may help young people to be research, basic research. I know you have a plan for that.
Yes, we know that there are great ideas all over the world, and we know that here in Latin America, there are many brilliant, talented people I've had opportunity to work with in the past. We can fund basic research, small grants that can be 3 years to pursue the best ideas. We're looking for the best ideas. We're hoping to find future Nobel laureates here in South America. So we want people to think big. Some of the ideas that maybe nobody else will fund are ideas that we would be interested in funding.
So the idea is the most important in your plan.
It's always about the ideas. I think the ideas are...
It's the beginning of a very big project.
Yes, yes. I mean, so I think the biggest things start with someone that had an idea, and many of us became scientists and engineers because we had ideas when we were young, and sometimes we forgot those ideas because we got busy working for other people and trying to make money, and so some of those ideas get put away. Well, we're asking you to think about those ideas because some of those may be the next important breakthrough tomorrow.
And what is the relation between basic research and innovation?
There's not, they're not in conflict. Most basic research ideas, they may begin with a simple question like, why is the sky blue? But there may be innovation in the theories to explain phenomenon. Maybe not that one as an example. So I think innovation is this creativity that one brings to solving a problem.
Practical problem.
I'm sorry.
Practical.
Practical.
Yes.
Practical. And sometimes.
But basic research is not related to solution, but to discover nature.
Right. There's a boundary between design and discovery. We're interested in the discovery. So design is when I have found a principle and now I'm building something. That's applied. We're interested in the basic, the discovery. We leave it to others to take those discoveries and build things. So we're interested more in the discovery.
May you give an example of this in history?
Yes, Louis Pasteur, and I think this has been discussed in a book. He was interested in why certain, materials transformed light. He didn't understand, but he was very curious about it, so he studied that. That was an example of basic research. Another example, also Louis Pasteur, was the sugar cane. There was industry, they wanted to know how to ferment sugar cane. They didn't understand how to do it, so he studied that problem too. Now, that was an applied problem, but he applied basic research spirit and philosophy to it because he discovered things that took him in different directions, and that's okay. That sometimes is what happens in basic research. You start out thinking about one thing, but you're led into a different direction, and that direction may be something no one expected before.
But to make basic research, you need some instruments, complicated, very...
It depends on the field. I think one of the things that's interesting about, say, neural networks, artificial intelligence, is that you only need a computer and the ability to write programs, computer programs, but in other cases you need multi-billion-dollar particle accelerators. So it really depends on the field of science that you're doing, and of course if you had very expensive instruments, that would enable you to do better science, but you don't always need that. And mathematicians they only have their mind and a pencil.
Albert Einstein theory. But the idea, for example, to detect gravitational waves with this project LIGO,
Yes.
the idea was followed by the construction of this big detector, no?
Yeah.
So the idea can give a project complicated and very expensive.
Yeah, you can. There are theories that require systems that we have no idea how to build and may never be able to build to test a theory. So I think that those parts of science remain inaccessible because of our limits. Sometimes we transcend those limits by maybe going into outer space where maybe there are energetic particles, things that we can't do on Earth, but maybe we experience in a new environment.
How you discovered your vocation for engineering?
I think when I was young, we first put man on the moon. I think a lot of us were very excited about that a person could be put on the moon. And I think that stimulated a lot of my early interest. I began to tinker with electronics. So in high school, I took a class in electronics, and then it was natural for me to go into electrical engineering because of that when I was in college. And so that I continued to study electrical engineering and was very intrigued by all the math problems and all the things I could build in the laboratory. So I think that's what drove me.
Some ideas came from your parents. What was the occupation of your parents?
Of my parents? Well, I think in that sense I'm a little bit different. My parents were not scientists. My mother stayed at home to take care of children. My father worked at the post office. They're noble professions, but they were not in the fields of science. So for some reason I took a different turn. But they were very supportive of what I did, and they were, I think, proud that I was interested in science.
50% of researchers in the United States are coming from other countries, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Is this important for you, the contribution of people from everywhere?
Yes, now more than ever. I think we've long recognized that the best ideas are not necessarily bound to one geographic location. We could say it that way. That means that we need to look all over the world for good ideas, and we're hoping to find them here in South America, wherever in the world they are. And I think that's what makes us excited to be here, is that hopefully that is our discovery. Can we discover the person who discovers the next great idea?
Thank you very much for this interview.
Okay, thank you.
Amigos, la Fuerza Aérea de Estados Unidos ha ofrecido una conferencia en la Facultad de Ciencias de la UNI sobre las posibilidades que tiene la juventud peruana de aplicar, de presentar sus ideas sobre ciencias básicas y que pueden ser eventualmente financiadas para llevarlas a cabo por las Fuerzas Aéreas de Estados Unidos en coordinación con la Universidad Nacional de Ingeniería. Hasta un próximo encuentro con la ciencia. Chao, chao.
La ciencia es el futuro. Sin ciencia no hay futuro.